If attracting women feels like a mystery to you, it's because you've been taught all wrong. The truth is, there's a hidden pattern in the behavior of men who genuinely spark women's interest. And it has nothing to do with money, looks, or pickup lines. Want to find out what truly makes them feel effortlessly attracted? Then stick with me until the end. Be yourself, but for real. A lot of guys out there think they need to act like a Hollywood heartthrob to win a woman over. The problem? That only works in the beginning, and even then, barely. Pretending to be someone you're not is the fastest way to get stuck in a tiring charade. At first, it might come off as charming, but when the mask slips, and it always does, the connection falls apart. Women can smell fakeness from a mile away, like a dog sniffing out food. If you've ever tried to impress someone by playing the perfect guy or hiding your quirks, you know how exhausting that is. You get stuck in the paranoia of keeping up the lie and forget the most important thing: enjoying yourself and living in the moment. The worst part, you might even attract a woman, but she'll like the edited version of you, not the real one. And being in a relationship while trying to maintain that act, pure mental exhaustion. Now, being authentic doesn't mean oversharing 100% of the time. No one wants to be around a walking diary complaining about life. It means being comfortable with who you are. Men who accept themselves radiate confidence without having to show off. And guess what? That's incredibly attractive. When you're at ease with yourself, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. People pick up on that, and it completely changes the game. Want an example? Think of someone who talks about something they love with a spark in their eyes. Maybe a hobby, a project, or even a wild idea. That guy stands out because he's not afraid to show passion. Instead of begging for approval, he naturally filters out the people who truly align with him. And in the end, the right woman will like you for exactly who you are, not for the role you're trying to play. How to talk to a woman without sounding like a programmed robot. Some guys think the key to an unforgettable conversation is memorizing pickup lines or telling epic stories. The truth, nothing creates a connection more than knowing how to listen. A lot of men talk, and forget that on the other side, there's someone who wants to be heard. The secret isn't having all the right answers. It's showing that you genuinely care. Women notice when you're present or just waiting for your turn to speak. You know, when you're telling someone something and you realize they're just nodding along, clearly thinking about something else, or worse, looking at their phone. Now, think about a conversation where someone truly paid attention, asked thoughtful questions, and seemed genuinely interested. Which of those situations made you feel special? Exactly. That's what makes the difference with women. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Small details already put you ahead of 90% of guys. Making eye contact, reacting to what she says, asking questions beyond the basics that turns even a random chat into a real connection. The problem is that many men treat conversations like interrogations or endless monologues. The art of communication is in the exchange, listening and being listened to. Simple, yet powerful. Now, be honest. Are you the type who truly listens, or are you just waiting for your turn to speak? Because if it's the second one, it's time to change that habit. Women notice. And nobody enjoys talking to a guy who sounds like a one-man podcast. So tell me, what's your biggest challenge when it comes to keeping an engaging conversation? Confidence is a huge magnet for women, but you know what's not? Arrogance. Some guys think being confident means walking around with an inflated ego, talking loudly, and trying to impress everyone. But real confidence comes from the guy who doesn't need to prove anything. He knows who he is, doesn't beg for approval, and doesn't turn every conversation into a competition about who's more impressive. That, my friend, is what truly attracts. Think about the workplace. Who earns more respect? The calm guy who knows his stuff and delivers results, or the one who never shuts up about his own achievements? In social life, the same logic applies. A confident man doesn't force anything. He simply exists with assurance, and that naturally draws people to him. Meanwhile, the guy who constantly brags about how awesome he is, he just exhausts everyone around him. Confidence shows in the little things: your posture, your tone of voice, the way you take up space. Maintaining eye contact, speaking clearly without rushing, and expressing your opinions without fear are all clear signs of a secure man. But listen, there's a fine line. Overdoing it and trying to dominate every conversation makes you look like a jerk, not a confident guy. The balance between firmness and ease is the secret to social magnetism. If you feel like you constantly need to prove yourself, maybe the issue isn't with women, it's with how you see yourself. Working on your self-esteem is what makes your confidence natural instead of forced. Because when you truly value yourself, you don't need to announce it every 5 minutes. Your presence already sends the message. And guess what? That's what stands out the most. Your appearance speaks for you, and it might be holding you back. Before you even open your mouth, your appearance has already sent a message. And no, this doesn't mean you need to be a model or follow trends. It simply means showing that you take care of yourself. A man who maintains a basic level of hygiene and style conveys discipline, self-esteem, and self-respect. Think it's a minor detail? Then watch how quickly women notice when a guy dresses well and keeps himself groomed. Now, imagine meeting someone who shows up with wrinkled clothes, messy hair, and a questionable smell. Would you be excited to keep the conversation going? Exactly. Women think the same way. On the other hand, a guy who knows how to choose clothes that flatter his body, keeps his hair in check, and wears just the right amount of cologne instantly creates an impression of confidence, without saying a word. And it's not just about clothes or hair. Personal hygiene is essential. Fresh breath, well-maintained skin, and clean nails are small details that make a huge difference. And yes, a good cologne can be a game changer, as long as it doesn't smell like you bathed in it. But here's the key. You don't do this just to attract women. You do it to feel good about yourself. And that feeling shines through. You don't have to spend a fortune on expensive brands. Small habits can completely transform the way people perceive you. Knowing how to choose a style that suits you, keeping a haircut that enhances your face, and having a basic grooming routine already make a huge positive impact. In the end, it's not the clothes that attract attention. It's the respect you have for yourself. And that's irresistible. Have a life beyond the couch and your phone. A man without hobbies is like food without seasoning, bland and forgettable. If you want to become more attractive, start by cultivating your own interests. Having projects, passions, and challenges makes you a person with purpose. And guess what? Women are interested in guys who have an interesting life, not in someone who only exists to please them. The secret to magnetism isn't in what you say, but in what you build. Now, compare two types of men. The first one just works, comes home, and spends the rest of the day sinking into the couch, watching whatever's on TV. The second one takes time to learn something new, train in a sport, play an instrument, or work on a personal project. Which one do you think has more stories to tell? Which one radiates more energy and enthusiasm for life? The answer is obvious. Besides, having a purpose helps you avoid one of the biggest mistakes many men make: becoming emotionally dependent. When your happiness revolves around a woman, you lose your essence. But when you have your own passions, your presence becomes a choice, not an obligation. And that's exactly what creates respect and admiration. No one wants to be with someone who only exists through another person. If you feel like there's nothing that truly excites you, start small. Learn a new language, cook a different dish, hit the gym, play an instrument. Anything that breaks the routine is already progress. The point isn't to impress anyone, it's to build something that makes you proud. Men who evolve naturally inspire. And when you grow, everything around you grows too. Respect speaks louder than any status. Want to know how a woman really evaluates a man? She pays attention to how he treats others. And I'm not just talking about her, but also the waiter, the store clerk, the Uber driver. Small gestures like listening without interrupting, being patient, and acting with kindness reveal the kind of person you really are. And there's no point in faking it. If it's not genuine, it will become obvious sooner or later. A lot of men think they need to impress with fancy words or act like a badass. But you know what truly connects? Making a woman feel valued. That means respecting what she thinks and feels without trying to correct or belittle her. You don't have to be a therapist. Just be present and show understanding. That creates a safe space where trust can genuinely grow. And it's not just about relationships. Respect and empathy shape your reputation. At the end of the day, the person who stands out isn't the one who shouts the loudest, but the one who makes others feel good. And this mindset opens doors in both personal and professional life. People like being around those who bring positive energy. If you think this is nonsense, just look at who has more friends and opportunities. The arrogant guy or the respectful one. But listen, don't confuse empathy with being a pushover. Respecting others doesn't mean accepting everything or being afraid to take a stand. You can and should have strong opinions and know how to set boundaries. The key is doing it without unnecessary aggression. That balance between strength and respect is what defines a truly confident man. And trust me, women pick up on that quickly. A lot of guys give up too soon because they want everything instantly. But the truth is, real connections take time. A woman might not be captivated right away, but that doesn't mean the game is over. How you handle that makes all the difference. A mature man knows how to wait for the right moment, without desperation and without hovering around waiting for a response. That shows confidence, and confidence is irresistible. Think of taking care of a plant. If you flood it with water, you kill the roots. If you forget to water it, it dries up. Relationships work the same way. Constantly texting, trying to force intimacy too quickly, or wanting an immediate yes only scares people off. On the other hand, disappearing out of nowhere doesn't help either. Small, consistent, and natural gestures create a real bond, without making it seem like you're playing a win or lose game. Now, there's a difference between smart persistence and clueless insistence. If a woman shows real disinterest, pushing further won't change anything and will only make you seem needy. But if the connection is there, just at a slower pace, staying present with patience can help the relationship grow. Often, interest develops over time when she sees your emotional stability and consistency. And that's what separates the average guys from the ones who truly win her over. In the end, patience and persistence aren't just about winning someone over. They're about respecting yourself. When you understand that your worth doesn't depend on a woman's immediate response, everything changes. You become more secure, more relaxed, and stop acting out of desperation. The strongest connections happen when you are simply yourself. No pressure, no rush. At the end of the day, the guy who leaves a lasting impression isn't the most anxious one. It's the most authentic one. Few people know this secret, but it can change everything for you. It's something no one ever taught you, but it makes all the difference when it comes to attraction. This secret knowledge has been tested and proven, and now you can access it. Want to know how this can work for you? Don't miss the chance to discover something most men will never know. This is the game changer that turns dreams into reality. Check out the link in the pinned comment and start applying this exclusive knowledge today. Subscribe to the channel now, because here, I show you exactly what truly works. Turn on notifications and stay tuned, because in the next video, I'll bring you even more insights to level up your attraction game.